After spending long hours developing the downtown of the city and boosting its population into the 50,000s, I decided to take a break from this area and start working somewhere else and foster new development. In this video, I'll start working on a brand new area of the city and focus on what is perhaps one of the most exciting parts of city building for me, which is building the road layout. So let's check what our possibilities are, do some planning, and start building. So this is how our city looks at the moment. It's looking quite nicely. We have a lot of development happening in this particular area, which is the downtown, but there's still a lot of work to do. And a lot of places we can potentially expand to, namely this area over here, right next to the train depot, and this is the area that will eventually extend into the coastal area where we'll have our harbor. Then we also have this area over here. I think this is particularly useful perhaps for some farms, agricultural industry, and perhaps even some forestry industry with all of this vegetation here. And then lastly we also have this area on the eastern part of the city. I think we are gonna do the expansion in parts. Obviously we cannot do everything in one video, and I think for this particular video we will focus on this area over here. And we have a lot of expansion permits, so 124 at the moment, and I think that's gonna be more than enough to focus this entire area. Looking at the natural resources of this particular location, we have a lot of ore in the way, so perhaps we can do some ore mining industry, even though we already have some of that industry in the city already. We have some oil to the north side, and we also have a lot of trees. So I'm thinking I'm gonna focus this area and dedicate it to residential, so this could be an extension of the suburbs, similarly to what we have in this location. I'm also thinking we can use this area to do some forestry industry. I'm not sure I'm gonna do some ore here. I don't think I will. I do think I can do some ore over here or potentially in this area as well, given that we have a lot of options for that. We also have some oil over here, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to use it. So I think the first thing that we have to do is, of course, buy these tiles. I want to adjust the orientation of the highway. As you know, I'm trying to theme this city into a circuit board theme, so it should be looking like a circuit board, and that involves all the roads to have 45-degree angles in between themselves, which obviously is not the case with this road because it's very organic looking. Nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with organic, but I'm looking for a different feel in this particular city. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rebuild this highway. Then of course we need to extend the railroad over to this area as well, and perhaps we can do an external connection in this location right next to the highway. That will provide another access point to the city. And then after all that is done, we can start developing the road layout. That's basically the general plan of what I have in mind, and with that said, I think we're ready to start building. I'm gonna turn the building process into a time-lapse as usual. I hope you enjoy it, and let's start building. After I was done with the reconstruction of the highway, I moved on to the railroad, as mentioned. I followed the same line as the highway, so I built the railroad parallel to it, so alongside the road, with the exception of the portion at the end, which follows a somewhat different angle or different direction. After that was done, I've started building the road layout in between the railroad and the highway. This will be a transition area between the downtown and the suburbs, so I'm thinking this will be dedicated to medium density residential perhaps. I've also noticed that the angle of the highway was wrong, so it wasn't exactly parallel to the roads that I was building, so I needed to fix that as well. For the road layout south of the railroad, I used a set of guidelines, a lot of different parallel roads and also crossing roads that would serve as guidelines to help me define the final shape of the layout. So I played a little bit with that and tried to come up with a pattern that I was comfortable with. I had a large area to cover, and that allowed me to build a relatively big layout, which is mostly going to be dedicated to low density residential. So we can probably build a friendly neighborhood here. I've ended the streets with the signature roundabouts that we've been using throughout the city. I have also rounded the corners of the avenues just to make a smooth transition, and I've also adjusted the intersections by removing left or right turns whenever necessary, and also removing the crosswalks and traffic lights as well, whenever it made sense. The big circle is going to be the forestry industry. Still not sure if this is the final shape it will take, because of course we need to think about accesses, and at the moment I've built a very simplistic connection to the layout, but it will serve as a starting point for the time being. Okay, so this is what I've managed to come up with, and I gotta say, it doesn't look bad. I think it fits the theme of the city quite nicely. If you compare it to this particular layout, you can clearly see the resemblance. I also think it follows a good orientation, so a good direction. It spreads from the circuit board over here and then follows this diagonal. And when it gets to this area, it can probably go like alongside this road. There are some things that need adjustments because some of the roads are a bit chunky. I didn't focus on detailing that. Actually, this thing, I don't really mind this weird slope because it could potentially be quite realistic, but there are some situations where the issue is a bit worse. So for example, let's see if I can find, oh, here we go. For example, this thing here, I'm not really satisfied with this. It kind of bothers me, so eventually I'll have to fix this, and potentially, oh, this as well. So there's, it's this kind of details that I need to adjust and detail as I build the city, as I develop this area. As I've mentioned in the intro, this area is going to be dedicated to the suburbs of the city. I'm thinking we can put some medium to high density residential in this area because it's right next to the downtown, so it can serve as a transition area, and this entire area is going to be low density. So a very big layout with a potential to place a lot of elementary schools, which, as we have seen in the past video, it's something that we really need to do, as this game demands a lot of those buildings, as you can see over here in this panel. So we need twice as many elementary schools than what we have right now. This layout also follows the principles of road hierarchy. So we have these thick roads that serve as the collector roads, and they pretty much provide access to the entire neighborhood, connecting it to the highway that crosses the city and also to other districts. I have this particular road that will lead into the forestry industry, and this is a bit I know it got a bit messed up as I was building the railroad, so there are some trees missing, but oh well, it is what it is, and it will get fixed eventually. This road over here, this collector road, will eventually connect to this area, and I think that could provide an access point to a potential ore district or mining district. And on this area over here at the hilltop, perhaps we can place an airport, for example, but this is something that I'm still thinking about. I also need to add additional highway intersections, so the closest one that we have is this one over here, but perhaps we can add a secondary one over here where the avenue goes over the highway. This could be an appropriate place for it, and potentially another one over here providing access to the industrial site, because this is an area that will require easy access to an outside connection. And of course I will also need to plan where I want to build my train stations. I'm thinking this location here is good for it, because it provides both access to the forestry industry, so people who work here, they can catch the train, and it's also far away enough from the existing station that we already have. And it seems that we have a connection broken. Let's see what is going on here. Oh, I think this is the regional bus line that we have that got broken as we built this new highway. But I think that will get fixed as the bus finds its way back. So yeah, I think we can add a passenger train station here, and also a cargo train station, and potentially another passenger train station over here as well. Another thing that we need to do is continue the development of the tramline, which at the moment it's ending at this point, as you can see by this track not completed icon. And I need to think what I want to do with this. I do not want to extend the line all the way here, because this area is supposed to be covered by a train, as I'm building a passenger train station here. So instead, I think I'm gonna make it cross this entire layout and bring it all the way over here and provide access to this entire region on the southern side instead. So I think that's the plan. Now we just need to figure out exactly where the line needs to go, and I think that's something that we can do right now. Let me grab a guideline here and go by 120 meters exactly. I need to remove this guideline. So we can make something like this. I think over here we'll have to do a tunnel. So let's go, I think 99 meters is good, but let's figure out how it ends up. So this can be our connecting point. Connect this road to this one. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's delete this segment. Let's have the tram line come through the avenue instead. Then I think we can connect it directly over here following this angle. Like this. Delete this unnecessary segment, as well as this area. Then all of this can be turned into a tram segment, and then I think we are gonna cut at this point and move towards the southern area. And I think for that we can follow the orientation of this avenue that we have and go over here. It would actually be quite neat if I could keep the roundabout, but I think we'll have to do something different and delete it instead. And it actually creates a nice bridge over here. I kind of like it. For this street, you can simply move it a bit back or intersect it with the tram line. Let's see what's the best procedure. So if I connect it directly to the tram line, I can make a roundabout here, like this. And I actually think that's a good addition. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep it. Let's see, can I put a tram stop over here? I cannot, but that's fine. I can put it over here, right next to the roundabout. Maybe I want to make a bridge over here and not have the tram line overlapping with the avenue and have it separate. So something like this. Now we just need to connect both of these ends. And this is what we end up with. I think I want to do some slight adjustments. Okay, I think I enjoy this pattern a bit better than what we had before. And it also provides access to this entire area, which I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do with. Perhaps we can place, I don't know, one of these server farms. I don't even know how big these are. Let's just take a look. We have plenty of milestone points, so we can easily spend some of these. Okay, yeah, so this is big enough for one of these assets. Perhaps I can place it here. Maybe even do an artificial park with some pathways here. We'll see. Give me your suggestions for this in the comment section. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I do not know when I'll post the next video. Cities Skylines 2 is getting a bit boring for me, as you've potentially seen by the time it took me to upload this video. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way. Perhaps this is a good opportunity for me to start playing other things and perhaps even reevaluate the direction that I want this channel to go. But anyway, I will keep you posted. Once again, thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, take care.